I'm following pop culture, Depth vs. Heard, celebrity news, stuff like that. This here is an article from KFI AM Radio called Marilyn Manson Response to Evan Rachel Wood Motion in Defamation Case. Now, for the record, it's not just a defamation case, but that's obviously part of it. So it's from July 23rd, 2022, and it is interesting to see local news because I'm sure they don't quite have the same mainstream narrative as a lot of the other sites do. See what we got. So it begins. Marilyn Manson, who is suing Evan Rachel Wood and a second woman for defamation of her sexual abuse allegations, says in new court docs that he and the actress once had a loving relationship and that her allegations of violence against him are unequivocally false. The 53-year-old Manson says he and Wood met in 2006 and had a romantic relationship that lasted 4 years. And that lines up with what she said, because she said it was pretty loving. She told papers and articles and all kind of outlets that it's not what you would think based on the way Marilyn Manson looks. Which is funny, because she's hoping people judge him by his looks now. During that time, we were engaged to be married and carried on a loving and consensual relationship, Manson says in a sworn declaration filed Wednesday in Los Angeles Superior Court in opposition to Wood's motion to dismiss parts of the case against her. Eventually, like many couples, we broke up. I never abused, assaulted, R-worded, or threatened Wood or her family as she since contended. And once again, we see the person making the accusations not wanting to go to court, wanting to get it thrown out. Well, if you put it out there to the whole world that this person did all this heinous stuff, wouldn't you be ready to go to court with the evidence? Wouldn't you be the first one? Front of the line at the courthouse? I guess not. I guess you want to throw it out there and run and hide. Wood's accusations against Manson of abuse, assault, R-word, threats, and the like are unequivocally false, Manson says, which he said just above. Okay, let's keep going. And now they do actually mention Ashley Gore, the second woman. In his suit filed March 2nd, Manson alleges Wood and her co-defendant, Ashley Gore, who the suit describes as the actress's on-again, off-again romantic partner, falsely portrayed him as an R-word and abuser, derailing his successful music, TV, and film career. According to Manson's suit, the allegedly false sexual abuse allegations against him prompt his record label and manager to drop him, and he also lost his role in the television show American Gods. Okay, so I'm not going to read this full paragraph because there's some words in here I'm not sure are following the YouTube guidelines and stuff like that, but let's just say that Gore said Marilyn Manson did some really incredibly terrible things in this documentary that he made called Groupie, or short film rather, and that if that got out, he would be indicted. But then Manson responds about that and says, in his declaration, Manson calls Groupie a professional art horror film I created and wrote, and that was filmed by director Joseph Coltis. The actress Paula Weiss was over 21, there was no sex in the film, and he and Weiss discussed the film's concept plot and some high-level dialogue prior to filming, Warner says, Warner being Brian Warner, Marilyn Manson. So what Ilma Gore said was there was sex in the film, that Paula Weiss was underage, and we know she wasn't because she said she wasn't. And obviously, you could look up the film and her age. And then, whenever Rachel Wood saw the film, she said she wished she was in it. Okay, that's interesting. And then Manson says this, I have suffered severe emotional distress as a result of Wood's and Gore's conduct. I am not an R-word or abuser, but many people now apparently think that I am, Warner says. And why do they think that? Because there are accusations and because he puts on makeup like that. The accusations have basically no foundation. And just to do a real quick recap of my theory is the more allegations you have, the more evidence you should have, not the more you should believe it. So if there were 10 times as many allegations as there are now, you should have 10 times as much evidence or even more. So keep that in mind. And also, we've got the fact that Evan Rachel Wood posed as an FBI agent. The letter was pretty sloppy, by the way. They call that out. They also call out Wood said she was R-worded in the video, heart-shaped glasses, when there's really no one coming to bat for her on that. No one's saying it's true. As a matter of fact, they're saying she's the one who wanted that type of scene in the video in the first place. And once again, like Amber Heard, Evan Rachel Wood's defense is free speech. So are you seeing some similarities now? They both wanted the case dismissed. They both cite free speech. They both have no evidence. But I guess the only reason some of you guys still believe them is that this number of accusers is out there with no evidence, by the way. So how can I say anything negative yet about Manson? Here are some of her claims. The R word, torture, tied up, beating, starved, sleep deprivation, and shocked sensitive body parts. Right, she's talking about that, bondage electric stick that you could buy on Amazon or something that people use when they get kinky. No big deal. And by the way, this article here is based on some court documents that recently got out. I'm pretty sure Colonel Kurtz has a video on it, so maybe check her channel out. And I've got some videos on her channel, so maybe check those out. They're pretty good too. And if you're not subscribed here, consider it. Click that subscribe button. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.